The following views expressed are those of the speakers and do not represent the views of DoD or its components.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
You probably need one, man. You put up some numbers, man.
Okay.
Hey, so for starters, for the listeners, first of all, we missed y'all. I don't know when this episode comes out. We might do an episode after this that's going to come out before this, but if this one comes out before the one that we do after this, we missed y'all. If not, then y'all probably tired of us at this point. But we are joined by Nikki Lozano. And it's a pleasure to have you here.
Most definitely.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier just about our childhoods, and if you don't know, I'm raising a 2-year-old, and it's a journey in itself. Every day is a journey, and so it kind of got us talking before we started about our youth and our grandparents and stuff like that. And I just want to start by asking Nikki, where are you from?
I'm from Utah.
Okay.
Yep, Sandy, Utah, about 15, 20 minutes outside of Salt Lake.
Okay. And okay, so close to Salt Lake. So what is it to do there? Like what growing up as a child, what's the fun things to do over there?
Well, back in my time, because I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit older than all y'all. There wasn't a whole lot to do.
You look young, Nikki. You look young.
Damon's about 50 years old.
I mean, she was on a Cole, right? So for the listeners, right? Just for the listeners that's like, what the hell is going on this episode? Nikki was on the Cole when it was attacked. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. And I learned about the Cole going through boot camp, right? So, but I'm the youngest of the bunch. But I learned about the Cole going through boot camp trainer. So I guess that gives some perspective on like how old you are. What was your rank then when you were on the Cole?
I was an E4. I was a PN3.
Okay. And that was your first, you said that was your first tour, right?
Yeah, it was my first ship. At that time, I had been in for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say your rate was again?
Personnelman. It was before PSs had merged with DKs.
Yeah, see? Hey, look, I'm learning already.
I feel old now, boy.
Did you know what a PN was here?
Yeah. I had PNs, DKs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were giving out I heard they was like handing people the paychecks back then.
Yeah, you go into mess decks, get your check, and then you had the Navy cash card. That was the newness, the Navy cash card.
Yeah, I was in before Navy cash cards. We had just barely gotten email on ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to fast forward. We got to fast forward just a little bit. We got to kind of move around a little bit. So barely getting email on ships. So how'd you guys communicate, especially as a PN?
When I checked on board, my sponsor handed me a calling card so I could call home.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't even have anybody to call because my mom didn't have a phone.
What about that's crazy in itself. But what about like throughout the ship? 'Cause, like, so for us, like a lot of our communication is email driven. Like a lot of it, even on shore duty, right? So what about you guys? Like, how did you, if you needed such and such cellar somewhere, was that all just based off of like morning meetings and quarters and stuff like that?
I mean, every shop had a sound powered telephone.
So it'd be direct line to such and such. Hey.
Or just go to the shop, go look for them. Because, it's a DDG, so it was a small ship.
Yeah, IVIX, correct?
Yep.
IVIX or JDIAL, I mean. That's still there.
Yeah, and forgive me if I forget some of the acronyms, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, yep.
Yeah, IVIX just seems so like, it seemed like it would be an emergency situation to use it for somebody like me who came into the, hey, it's an email. Because what about when nav admins and stuff came out?
They came out, like, that was when somebody would go to radio, pick up whatever was printed, and then everybody would get a paper copy of what they needed to read that day. And then they'd have the like the squares or whatever in the top corner to initial to say that I read the messages for the day.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's go back to Utah real quick. This is interesting though. So let's go back to Utah. So in Utah, you, when did you start thinking about the Navy?
So goofy. It was not even on my radar. I had been graduated from high school. I graduated when I was 17. I was homeless and I didn't know where to go. And I ended up after I come from a huge family and I made several phone calls. Nobody had room for me. And so I called my cousin who was 15, had 2 kids, was in Section 8 housing, and I knew she had an extra bedroom. And when I called, she didn't have a working refrigerator. So she allowed me to stay with her if I could get her a fridge. I was 17.
These sound like 25-year-old, problems. So where does this begin? Like, where does you being homeless where does that part of the story start?
That was the second time I was homeless. That was, I want to say it was when me and my mom were staying in an apartment that, so it was an apartment that was owned by a guy that had a very big drug business. He was like the biggest drug business in the area. And he was a family friend of my dad's. I used to babysit for him for years. And he got locked up for a while. We were staying in one of his properties. And when he got out, he needed his place. And so we had to go.
What is the kind of neighborhood is this? Is this like rural? Is it more?
People think Utah and they're like steers and queers. Yeah. I used to hear that phrase a lot, but it looks just like everywhere else. It looks like here.
Mm-hmm. So not like
and
not like Ozark, not like the Ozarks.
Not at all. Not at all. And there's parts of Utah that look like that, but not Salt Lake, not that area. It's the valley. It's in the middle of a mountain, so it's the valley of a mountain. So like no matter where you are in that area, you're surrounded 360 by mountains.
I like that. Actually, so actually really pretty. Mom and dad both worked.
Dad passed away when I was 13. My mom worked, and we struggled financially. I mean, I grew up in a trailer. All I knew was struggle. I used to get my chore money and food stamps. Yeah, it was just, that was life. After he died, we moved into an apartment, and actually it wasn't right away. He died when I was 13. We moved out of the trailer park when I was 16. In order for us to move into that apartment, if we could afford it, we all paid rent, me, my brother, and then we even moved in my brother's girlfriend so we could all afford to live in this nice place. It was like a newer townhouse. And we were not able to finish our lease because my brother got us kicked out for playing his music too loud too many times. And when we got kicked out, we still had to pay the rest of the lease. And so we couldn't afford to get another place. So that time I was pretty much couch surfing. My mom moved in with my auntie. My brother was on the streets. He was staying wherever. He already had he was already addicted to drugs at this point. I was still in high school, figuring out a way to get myself there every day. And my brother, he had dropped out in 9th grade. And that time, I think I stayed with my cousin for the longest, just sleeping on her couch. And in between when I would just stay at friends' houses. And then eventually we got another place. And then, I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 apartments later, but then the second time was when we had to vacate. So, dude could, I refer to him as, cartel house whenever I go babysit for him. But when he needed his place back, that's when I ended up in my cousin's apartment.
Okay, so I got 2 questions, and I'm gonna ask them separately. The first question is about growing up in the trailer park, right? You grew up in a trailer park, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So growing up in a trailer park, what life lessons, like valuable life lessons, did you learn in that community that you kind of adopted to how you carried yourself for the rest of your life?
So, and I do go into details in the book, but when my dad was alive, he wouldn't let us go outside. So I can't say that there was like all of the lessons that I learned.
Yeah,
I learned them the hard way. And it wasn't because I felt like I was a part of a community, because it wasn't like that. That wasn't my experience.
What was the reason behind that?
He was, these are all words that I learned later in life, but he was a controlling narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
He kept me, my brother, and my mom all, like under his thumb in every way. He controlled everything.
Yeah. And like, at what age did you realize that life was different for you than anybody else? Because I know sometimes when you're young, like, you don't know what life is until you see it from outside of your scope. So at what age was that for you?
I think it came in layers because, like anytime we would go visit family, we would visit family quite a bit. It was only his side of the family. Mm-hmm. We were, in like maybe once, twice a year, we were allowed to visit my mom's side of the family. And anytime we would go to anybody's house, it was like, that was all the thoughts going through my head. Like, why don't we do this? Why aren't we allowed to do that? But I never voiced it because there would be retaliation.
Yeah.
And then was go ahead.
I'm listening to you.
There was a time when I was in elementary and I had a friend and she invited me over and I already knew what the answer was going to be because it wasn't allowed. So I missed the bus. And that was like a big rebellion for me to miss the bus because I knew I was going to get it when I got home. And I knew I was going to get it when I had to get picked up. But I was like, it's worth it. I don't care what's going to happen. I want to go see. And then when I went to her house and she, I'm watching her get in her fridge and she could go get snacks. And her parents talked to her and asked about her day. And it was like, this is what it's like at other people's houses. And this is how people treat each other. And it would be at that level.
Yeah. Was he so he was physically abusive?
Oh, yeah.
To everybody in the household?
Oh, yes.
Now, did you have kids?
Do I have kids?
Yes.
I have 3.
And I'm sure you learned some lessons from that you carry on for the rest of your life or got some traumas from that. What are some of those?
I would say that a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing from my eldest, I would consider her one of my greatest teachers because, you see yourself in the reflection of your children and how they respond to how you're treating them.
Yeah.
And while I was not physically abusive to her and, like a lot of the things that were important to me, I didn't want her to have to experience. Mm-hmm. I found that I raised her through fear. Mm-hmm. I have 3 daughters. I was afraid of what she was going to experience as she was coming up, almost at the same age of things that happened to me when she would get to that age. And I wouldn't see it. I wasn't conscious of it or aware of it until it was after the fact of how I would be so, just so fearful that I would kind of go a little bit too hard on how I parented, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And another question I got is this. Like sometime in life, as we grow and get old, we teach ourselves lessons about our parents. And I call it perspective, and sometimes it's true or sometimes it's just the perspective as you want to see it. So in your life, in your growth and your development and your maturation, what lessons have you kind of taught yourself about your dad that gave you more perspective about who he might have been at that time in his life?
I'm not even sure how to answer that question because I think I had to go through layers of detaching what I thought was my fault.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was less about understanding him and more about understanding myself and giving myself compassion.
Yeah. How was he brought up?
He was brought up in foster care, highly abusive. And the part that I always found fascinating was that he and my two uncles, they got picked up on the street, walking on the street. They were my grandpa. So my grandparents never learned English. My grandpa's from Mexico. My grandma's from Puerto Rico. And they never learned English. At this point, they had split up. So they lived, and I'm sure it was like maybe 10, 15-minute drive, but they were children. And this was back in the day when there was no babysitting. And so when my grandpa would go to work, he worked in the Kennecott mines, he would leave his three boys home alone. He was the one raising them. And they were 5, 4, and 3, I believe. And they wanted to go see mom. So they started walking and they got picked up. And at this point, they didn't know English either. And so they got picked up. They got, from what my uncle shares with me, because it was stuff that my dad didn't really share a whole lot with me. They got separated and got locked into rooms. And then when my grandma, like it was brought to her attention that they were in there and she went to go get them, she thought she was signing papers to get them released. And she what she didn't know was she was signing papers to give up custody.
Mm-hmm.
So they stayed in foster care for years. I think my my younger uncle, I want to say that he was in there at 3 or 4, somewhere around there. He was little, and they didn't let him out until he was 12.
Yeah.
And then the home that they put them in was a white family who beat them because they didn't speak English. Beat them for whatever. They used to lock them in rooms. They used to take all their toys away. They wouldn't allow them to eat. They told me stories of, I didn't think I was going to get emotional with some of the questions you were going to ask, but they would hide cans of condensed milk and puncture them so they could drink it.
Oh, no.
And some of the stuff that they've told me is some of the stuff that my dad would do with us.
Yeah.
And so it was like, of course it makes sense. But the part that I thought was fascinating is that my two uncles aren't like him at all. They're loving, they're caring, they're family members, they're family men. They are the ones that I credit for reinstating my faith in men and what a father could be and what a husband could be, because they were nothing like him.
Yeah, and I think a young lady needs that, right? Like I got a little daughter, and I want to be the best example of a man. Even though, like we talked earlier, and I took her smoothie from her because she said no too much, but I still want to be the best. Yeah, it's a lesson, right? Like, hey, I said this, I'm standing on it. I still, want to be the best example, of a man. When you're talking about a lot of things, right? And some of those things transition to like even military leadership when you talk about like passing down traumas. And I was just talking to my sellers about that, passing down traumas. But one of the things you hit on was like the foster system, the foster care system. And recently one of my sellers just checked out the command and he grew up in foster care. And I know a little bit of it because where I'm from, people used to have children, but never permanently have them. So like they would be like transient homes, but they would get money for it. They would get checks.
That's why most of them, that's the awful part, is that from my understanding, and it's been going on for years and it's been going on all over the country, but most of those families that would take kids in, that's the only reason why they were doing it, was because it was a way to make money.
Yep, they would get checks. And then the only time that they ever presented well was when the people came around to kind of verify what was, because somebody would come around periodically to kind of check. So they would be like, hey, clean up, comb up, wash up, brush teeth, eat some food. They coming around, and you better not say nothing, because if you do, it's going to be worse than it was, right?
Yep. And I mean, that's like indicative of any kind of abusive home, is that you're taught to hide what's going on.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is when you hide what's going on, you're protecting your abuser, right?
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people protect their abusers, which is, just the concept alone is just insane. So dad dies when you're 13.
Mm-hmm.
You and mom move out. Life is still a struggle at this point. Mom got 2 kids?
Yeah, it's me and my older brother, Pablo.
Yeah, and how much older is Pablo than you?
A year and 3 months.
Okay, so y'all close in age anyway, right?
Very close.
So brother's about like 14, 15, as you 13, 14. And y'all all start working some form of job.
I started working when I was 15, and I was paying rent at 15. Still in the trailer.
What was your first job?
It was a telemarketing job. I worked at, it was a water softening company, and they would rip out pages out of the white pages, and I would just go down the line and call all these people, trying to set up appointments so this company could sell them a water softener.
Yeah, that used to be the underage gig to get. Like that was like the first, everybody wanted you to do telemarketing. Now it's kind of like overseas. All right, so you growing up, did you go to prom?
I went to junior prom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make it to prom. I didn't have a date, and then one of my friends tried to hook me up on a blind date, and the guy stood me up, so I didn't make it to prom.
All right, so no prom, but by that time, the Navy is in your sights, or
no. I was already graduated, and my mom just like, it's so funny because it's not even who she is on any level. She just came home one day out the blue and was like, you all are old enough to take care of yourselves. I'm out of here. I'm going to join the Navy. Like just straight out the blue. And then, and that was the first time that it was like, Navy. Yeah. And then she came home and she was like, I'm too old. They wouldn't take me. And I think she was maybe 34 at the time, I think.
Yeah, that's like,
I'm a young mom.
Used to be the sweet spot.
Yeah, if only it was 2026 back then, right?
Right.
Yeah, that used to be the sweet spot. So then you said the last time you were homeless, that's when you were like, hey, I'm doing Navy.
Yeah, I mean, I was working 2 jobs. I had a car. I had managed to buy a car, and living with my cousin, it wasn't a great situation. You're not ready for motherhood at 13 or 15, which is how old she was when she had her 2 kids. Yeah. And I needed to get out. I needed to get out of that life.
So, quick question. So you said Navy, the experience now of anybody. Sorry, my dog acting crazy. The experience of anybody right now, you can go on YouTube, you go on internet and do your research. Now there's no research. You literally have a pamphlet, maybe some posters here, a TV commercial, and you're literally at the mercy at the recruiting office. So did you have any friends or anybody in the community that was military, or was like, nah, straight cold shot in the recruiter's office?
It was, I walked in and I was like, when's the next bus leaving? Like, what job can you give me? I had done no research. They did give me pamphlets, and the only thing I remember reading was because they give you these sheets that explain like what a rate is and what a job is. And the only one that stood out to me was like, ooh, intelligence specialist. That sounds smart.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Well, I didn't qualify because I had an underage drinking ticket. So I had a record. So they're like, we can't take you. And so then the next best thing was like, well, I've been in administrative type jobs for years. And I go, that sounds like a perfect fit. That's the route that I went.
Okay, so you arrived at Great Lakes on a bus, right? And how's, because now I'm assuming that because you kind of lived your life in like in a vacuum a little bit, right? Like you grew up.
Well, I go into that, but it was in a vacuum for the first 13 years, and then after that, between the age of 13 and I didn't join the Navy until I was 19. I was 2 years at a high school. I was in the workforce. I was on a sales team. Like I was the youngest by 20 years on the sales team that I was on.
Yeah.
But in between that time, I was working and running the streets, underage drinking, house parties, hanging out with gangs, committing petty crimes.
Yeah, just
you name it. It was, I did all that.
Was it like petty crimes for the thrill, or like, nah, this is need, I need to get something?
It was a
like
little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was lifestyle, right? I think it was what you knew at that time in your life.
It was what
right?
I knew. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be interesting kind of getting into like the mindset shift. So you go to boot camp. Did the mindset shift automatically in boot camp, or you just kind of, hey, I know what I need to do to get through this? Like, how was boot camp?
Well, I guess part of me having to earn my own income at such a young age and having to be responsible for that part wasn't hard. Like I've always been a hard worker. That I think that's what got me through my entire career, because that part of it was like, it was no question. Tell me what I need to do, and I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run circles around everybody else. But then the minute I have time to myself, I'm gonna be like, let's burn it down. Like back at the beginning, it was like work hard, play hard to the fullest. I would show up like straight from the club or whatever, still, smell liquor on my breath, and people handing me gum on the way to muster. I'm like, bro, here, take this, take the whole pack. It was like that at the beginning. But boot camp, I thought it was like, at first, when, people are screaming and yelling at you when you get off the bus, I'm like, oh, what did I just do? Like, what did I just get myself into? Mm-hmm. But then everything else, to me, it was like, I have a bed, I have food. Right. All I have to do is sit here and listen to some stuff. Like, why? And literally, like, I didn't put this in the book. I didn't say it word for word, but I was like, why are these people being little bitches? Why are they all crying? Why are they all acting like, in my head, I'm just like, here this person goes again. Shut the hell up and do what you're told. We got to clean something, go clean it. Like, what are you crying for?
Every night at boot camp, and I talked about this multiple times on the podcast, every night at boot camp, somebody would sit up in their bed and be like, guys, we got to tighten up. We have to. And then people be like, shut the hell up, Williams. Shut your ass up. Go to sleep. And it'd be every single night a different person. Like, they getting on us because we messing up. It's true. I be like, yo, come on, y'all. Like, that's it. So my other boot camp question, and I'm sure Aaron was an RDC before, so I'm sure he might have some other questions. But my other one was, when I went through battle stations, the whole entire battle stations was based around the USS Cole. Right? The whole thing. So what was battle stations for you? Because it obviously wasn't the Cole.
No.
Old school battle stations.
Yes.
And the whole base.
the Missouri or whatever?
Yep.
So mine was the base too. Don't come on, Aaron. Don't do me like that. Mine was the base. It wasn't that USS whatever. It wasn't
the Trayer.
Yeah, it wasn't the Trayer. I'm gonna be honest with you though. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was the last year before the Trayer. The Trayer was
I
built.
believe it.
Yeah, the
I
Trayer
believe
was ready to go, but it wasn't that. We were going all around it, and they were actually kind of that. They were like, "Hey, we used to go here and go here and go here," so it was a little less spot because it was raining at night too. But it was less spots than what they used to do. But it wasn't the Trayer. It wasn't the Trayer yet. Don't do me like that, but like it wasn't the Trayer. Trayer was the next year though.
You hear him, Damon? He trying to claim old school. You know what I'm saying?
But for you, Nikki, because I swear, like everything was themed off the Cole and like what to do, what not to do, how we attack casualties. For you, what was it? Just random events or something like that?
Yep, it was It was marching from station to station, but it was double time marching. I remember, wearing the Kevlar helmets or whatever you want to call them. I can't remember what they're called. And just double time into different spots, having to jump in the pool, having to do scenarios in the pool.
Yep, just like me. Wait, when did you come in? When did you come in?
1998.
Yeah, same time.
98.
Okay, yeah, 98.
Yeah.
98.
Did you have to carry? You stuck with the sea bag? I remember they would put all the gear in the sea bag, and you have double timing. And if they said stay in step, they would keep a good pace.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't, that instructor, he or she, their cardio was crazy. They would just double time. You'd be like, damn, they're about to be in a sprint.
Yeah.
And you got that sea bag, and if you take it off, you'd be like, your bag, the person's supposed to take it from you. And I remember I got stuck with that joint. And I was like, bag. And everybody's like, man, I ain't grabbing that.
Ooh.
But now, don't they add a historical element to each event? Like, didn't they have hey, and when you get in the pool, is that not the Missouri incident or whatever? Is it the Missouri? Am I correct about?
I don't remember.
The Indianapolis. Is it not the Indian? It's the Indianapolis, right? Where they got where the sharks came and all that.
I don't even remember where it was. They had little fake sharks and shit, but I don't remember it being named anything though.
Yeah. I think it was.
It probably was, but I just don't remember. Yeah.
They just grabbed us.
Well, what they would do with us was before the event, you got to get on a knee and they give you the historic significance of the event before you go do it. I'm sure they did that with y'all. Y'all just can't remember.
I'm gonna use a word I didn't learn this word until later in life, but I feel like I disassociated through most of it. Just get to the end, because even the last spot that we were running to, I was so lightheaded, I thought I was going to pass out, but I was just in my head, just keep going. Mm-hmm. And then once I made it to the end, I literally, I just fell out.
Yeah.
I remember the mass casualty.
Yeah.
Where it was this warehouse and had all these signs and it's dark. You got to push them on the stretcher. You got to pull them. And they would always find the biggest, most corn-fed dude to put on the stretcher. You got to pull them.
Yeah.
I remember that. And then all you talked about was the breakfast, the hero's breakfast or whatever afterwards. That was a big thing for us.
Yeah.
Breakfast?
Breakfast, yeah.
Yeah, it was you get to eat whatever you want, all the omelets to order, to pancakes. You just hungry. But I remember, Nick could probably say, but you remember seeing the divisions who just finished. Mm-hmm. And their dungarees, your tits be mad dirty. Mm-hmm. And they looking like from glory after a battle or something.
Yeah.
Man, y'all stick with it, man.
Got that Navy ball cap.
You can do it.
That Navy ball cap on, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, so you get through boot camp and you go to your first command in USS Cole. Mm-hmm. How is it?
So I was a part of the first group of females to check on board an all-male ship. It was rough, let me tell you. So the ship had just been commissioned. It was only 2 years old when I checked on board. It had just come back from its maiden voyage. So very first deployment. So there was still plank owners on board. Most of the people that were there were plank owners. And when we got there, we checked on board the day that they pulled back in port. You would have thought that we had the plague, leprosy. Nobody wanted to talk to us. It was almost like all the females just stuck together for, because it was Palm. So half the crew left. Mm-hmm. And then when it came time for the other half to come back, it started all over again. And there we were, everybody avoiding eye contact. And because what we later learned was that they were basically during their deployment just beat over the head about the women are coming and sexual harassment and blah, 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 blah. And that didn't pass until we went underway. And it wasn't the first underway. It was, what do you call it? I want to say it was Fleet Week. I think it was Fleet Week, and we were headed to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, because that's where the ship had been commissioned. And that the very first time that we went out and like went on Liberty, hung out, got drinks, that was the first time we really broke the ice.
Mm.
And that was just the beginning of us kind of, becoming a crew.
Yeah, the Navy is real good at like scaring you about the people that's coming. Like,
oh my gosh.
They real good about that. Hey, when the new CMC come, when the new such and such come, they gonna get this thing right. They gonna be the sheriff in town. So yeah, so when it's like, all right, we gonna get y'all together because the ladies are coming, and like let's do it again, and let's do it again, and y'all better not do this, and y'all better not do this, and we know y'all gonna do this, and we know y'all. So then the guys are like you said, they like, all right, let's just don't even go near them, But a couple drinks always break the ice.
I got a question about that. So when you first females get there, so ships are not like the Cole. It was not made to have females on in the beginning. So was it good to go when you guys came on there for like ready for female?
I think so because, it being a small ship, there was only 2 female berthings. And the hard part, and again, it wasn't on my radar at the time, but I'm like, man, the female chiefs must have had it rough because they had to find space for them. Like the officers, there were actually 2 female officers that had been on board. I think they went on deployment with the guys. I think they were the only, and I think they showed up maybe midway through the deployment, but
they got staterooms a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they had their own space, and they had, the one stateroom that they shared. But for the rest of us, I mean, the fact that it was a newer ship, it was, I think, a good experience. Like all the nuances with the guys and everything, and having to go through that, it was an adjustment for everybody. But for the most part, it was a good experience.
Yeah, I mean,
the ship store. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it have, DDG ship store, you can have everything to begin with, but did they have to catch up with some of the things that women sailors would need? Or were y'all like at the mercy of trying to get care packages?
We were at the mercy. I mean, I don't even know when that ever changed because women's stuff, gives a damn. It's like, we don't even know what you need.
I remember in boot camp when I was. Boot camp was as a person. Then boot camp was RDC. You do those ship store runs, and then it's like, I can't use the shampoo. Why not? Shampoos for shampoo. It's like my hair grows out. It don't grow down. This shampoo ain't cutting it. Oh.
Yeah, it is like that. Our RDC called female products manhole covers.
That's crazy. On my first ship, this is kind of random. On my first ship in the ship store, they had the Terrence Howard album. I feel like if you
Terrence Howard had an album? What's it called? Maine? M-A-Y? Maine?
No, but it's like Jamie Foxx got like a YouTube video about like how it would double wood. Like, and Jamie
that's
I don't know
crazy,
if you ever saw
man.
like Jamie Foxx got like a YouTube video where because him and Terrence Howard had beef. And he's like, this
they
dude
cool though. They laugh about it.
I ain't like what you said to me, man. But his album was in the ship store, right? And it's ironic that like you got the damn Terrence Howard album in the ship store, but we ain't figured out women's products yet.
Yeah.
That to me is pretty ironic. But now you want to you want to ship for about 4 years before the incident, right? Before the terrorist attack.
Oh no, 2.
Like 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, you were on for 2 years before that.
Yep, and this was again, different Navy. So I lived on board the whole time.
Yeah.
And we didn't have self-serve laundry, so we would have to wait until we, pulled in port, took a big old laundry bag and walk all the way down to pier and hopefully get a ride to the nearest laundromat.
No ride. I'm walking that thing.
Yeah, you say this, and now I'm thinking about some of the complaints that some of our sailors have, and
Now, right?
I know they don't have a point of reference. Like, man, if y'all don't shut the hell up, man. But you gotta give them a point of reference. They don't know anything else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, especially on the carrier, man. I can't talk to nobody. Like, you remember waiting in line to try to get on a computer for an email, and the person writing a 5-page letter to the love of their life, quote unquote. You know?
Absolutely. No, it's true. It's like anytime I would hear anybody complain, it would fall on deaf ears with me, because I'm like, there's not anything you could say to me that I'm going to care about, because you just be a little bitch. Like, figure it the fuck out.
So did you know Amari Ponciano?
He's my oldest daughter's father.
Oh, for real?
We share a kid.
Oh, okay. Did you know we knew him? Did you know?
No.
Small world, smaller Navy, folks.
Yes, yeah. So if you see all the pictures, that's my daughter.
For real? He been on the. She looks just like you. Yeah, and he been on our podcast twice.
I did not realize that he had been on here twice. I had never even seen his episode. That's hilarious. Now I gotta go look.
Yeah, and he wrote a book about his life, and I read the book. So
I'm in the book.
You're a character.
I'm in the book.
Okay, all right. That made things kind of awkwardly, surprisingly okay. So,
Two book plugs. I love it. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably figure out who I am in the book when you read it.
Yes, I got the. So did you? So did y'all meet on the Cole? I take it.
Yep.
Okay. Were you hotel party? Is that like your story? Did you read the book?
Yeah, I read it.
Are you the hotel story? It was like the story about. Oh, okay.
No, I'm pretty sure that's. I won't say her name, but I'm pretty sure that's Ace School Boo.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. We won't talk about. Hey, shut up. I'm sorry. What's up, boy? What's going on, Brody?
The crazy part is, I already have his book on order. It's coming to my house. It's supposed to deliver on Saturday, so it's about to be a page turner. And Nikki, I'm getting your book as well. So that's about to be good.
His book is a page turner. It's one of my favorite books. It's funny as hell. You know, it is a page turner. It's the easiest book I ever read in my life, honestly, to be honest. And I told him that. But all right. So on the Cole. At that moment, last question about Amari. Did y'all know each other like at the moment of the collision?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So for you, right? So did you ever read the book Front Burner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in that book too.
Who are you in Front Burner?
I'm me.
Yeah.
But so I'm on page 78. He references me on page 78.
For real?
Yeah.
Man, yeah. So I read Front Burner too. I actually read that too. So, what was your, before we get there, right? Anything significant to you about your experience on a Cole, before that moment, before that day?
In what way?
Like just any like big time lessons you learned that kind of stuck with you in your career, and your first couple years in the Navy, before the Cole incident?
I kind of feel like everything that I experienced, I would consider lessons that I took with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the one of the biggest things, and I know that in talking to the rest of the crew members, we all felt this way. We already felt like a family before that happened. Mm-hmm. We were such a tight crew, and I didn't realize how good we had it and how tight we were until I went to another command. And I did not have that at any other command that I'd ever been at. And it was, all of that was before the bombing. So the bombing just brought us even closer together.
Yeah. How long did you...
We had super tight crew.
Just for context, how long did you stay there after the bombing?
I stayed there for a year afterwards. I tried to stay longer, but that's when I was pregnant. And we did not have a ship. So I could have stayed, but we had a new CO that came on board that replaced our captain at the time. And I won't say who it was, but he treated us horribly. The entire
I was
crew.
going to ask you. Yeah, and so that was why I asked you that question, because I was about to ask you if you were there for him. Well, I was figuring out that you were there for him, and he kind of said something like along the lines of, "It's time to move past that," right?
Oh, it wasn't along the lines. He checked on board. We had a whole wall full of all of the stuff that we would get from kids and, people that would mail us things. Like it was drawings from schools of thank you for your service. You're our heroes. I mean, it was a whole wall of really awesome stuff that people were sending to us. And he checked in and he said, take all this shit down. We need to move on. Get rid of it. And we need to get the old crew gone quickly as possible. Find orders for them. And that's what I was doing day in and day out. I was writing orders, modifying orders to get people on other ships and other commands as quickly as possible.
So I got the 7th Fleet after, or same as y'all, after the McCain and the Fitzgerald collisions, right?
Yes.
And I think it's crazy that for all those years later, all the lessons were about damage control and everything, but not about the resilience and the community of the folks. Because if you all were tight and chosen family before the collision, then that life-altering experience made y'all bonds even tighter. And, I had sailors from the Fitzgerald and 1 or 2 from the McCain when I was on McCampbell, and it's like, you got to keep these people together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want to say trauma bond, but you're bonded. So it's like, trying to move people out, you're not helping them in any sort of fashion in trying to, heal, figure out their brand new normal. Like,
nope. And it was like,
maybe we've gotten better, but
I don't think so. I mean, I've talked to several people that were on board those ships, and it sounded from their experiences, they didn't handle it any better than they handled it with us. We were treated horribly.
Yeah.
There was absolutely no care about our well-being. And I know for a fact, not just from my own experience, from so many other people, all of the commands that we went to, we were treated just as shitty when we got there because we were treated like we were a liability. And I don't go into it in my book. I don't talk about it, but I had several people that I worked for that the minute they knew where I came from, it almost felt like they were making it their life's mission to break me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's kind of hard with like the command itself, the USS Cole command itself. In engineering, for instance, if we got the watch, right, and we have a casualty, we don't turn over the watch until we are secure from the casualty for the most part. And yes, you got the damage, the physical damage, but like we talking about this emotional toll that it took on the crew.
Yes.
It's a dynamic, and I feel like we could spend a whole podcast talking about this. I think y'all brought up a really good thing. It's this one dynamic of the fact that like the COs and such, they have careers, right? And reading Captain Leopold's, right? His name was Captain. Reading his book, he was under investigation for some of this for some time, and things of that nature. But so their careers, they got to keep going, right? CMC's got to transfer. Like, so command leadership, like, in my opinion, it would be ideal just to keep the leadership there that was there until we come out of this phase. But it's also this career progression thing and career track thing and this other thing that competes against the human aspect of that emotional, because now you are asking, you asking a new, and I'm willing to open this conversation up because I don't want to stop at my thoughts, because now you're asking a new CO to come in a place that you got emotionally damaged sailors that this new CO just like, as like the new CO might have even been charged to, hey, like you need to charge the crew to start being progressive from this, right? And I mean, who's ready for that? And I don't think anybody got the emotional maturity to go to a crew full of people that just lost shipmates, that just dealt with all, like y'all were getting y'all like uniforms stolen from like the crews that was coming to help y'all and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't think anybody knows how to come in that environment and like and do whatever it is you need to do in that moment. Like you need to do something in that moment that is not in any playbook. And it's just natural. I've been in a predicament like that, and I think I did okay. But you're going to mess up in some ways. I think the CO did. I don't think the CO was right. Like the new guy that came, I don't think he was right. But I also think it was a tall order to relieve it was a tall order to just break up that crew, period. Right. But what's y'all thoughts on that? Am I off on that?
Yeah. So my thought is, I don't think the CEO should have been in charge of making that decision. Right. I feel like when he got there, it should have been already a plan in place for the crew. You know what I mean? Okay, if we're going to remove them all, let's remove them all right? Let's put them all you know what I mean? I don't think he should have, because the way you do that, and now it's all one at a time, right? We trying to send people here, send people there, all over the place. Nope. I would have pulled them, got them the help they need. Then we'll disperse and have them, finish their career or get out or whatever they want to do. But I wouldn't have put the new CO in that position to make a call like that.
Yeah. Because it's a degraded crew, man. Like even the family was hit hard with this, right? The family members, right? Like, and the crew, from what I kind of gathered, the ship's crew was even close to the family of the people that passed, like the family members, right? I just think, and I'm gonna shut up in a second. I just think to put a CO into that environment that wasn't there for the collision it's a tall fucking task.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have any sympathy for the guy. I don't think he handled it. I don't think he handled it right at all. But because at some point he is thinking about getting the ship, and it's crazy that that it goes here, right? But it's realistic. At some point he is thinking about getting the ship because this ship wasn't deemed to never like sail again, right? Like this ship is going to steam again, and it's like he's thinking about. I don't know. I just think that's a crazy complicated position to be in.
I think it is crazy and complicated. I felt like he came in and treated us like we were inanimate objects that were in his way of progressing his career. And so we needed to be removed as quickly as possible. And most of the crew members were sent to other ships. And that was a wrong move too.
Yeah, because he wasn't leading. He probably wasn't leading like on the people, like the outward mindset where you're thinking about your people, right? So we learn about that. He was probably trying to, and I don't know this guy or whatever, but he's probably trying to say, hey, I came and I bought the coal out of whatever, that was probably the story he wanted, right?
He wanted that notch on his belt as far as, what it felt like being there. Yeah.
And it's like, damn, you don't understand the emotional toll that these people just went through and are still going through. Cause it was a lot happening. Like some people got moved. Some people it was a lot. And now, and no further ado, let's kind of get to your, that day for you, October 12th.
Well, before we go there, because we were still in that little section of right after we came back, September 11th happened. And most of us were still there working out of that building, that temporary building. And it was like being re-traumatized all over again. Not like it was.
Yeah.
September 11th. Less than a year. Yeah, less than a year, right?
Yeah, it was less than a year. And collectively, we were all going through full-on PTSD attacks. We thought they were coming back for us. They didn't get the job done there, so they got to come back.
Yeah.
It was a rough time.
Yeah. Were you close to any other loss?
Yes.
Okay. So October 12th is a refueling evolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you?
So it's such an odd day because where would I normally be? Lunchtime? I would be coking and joking, standing at the end of the mess line, standing up against that bulkhead exactly where the bomb hit. That was every day. Like I was, me and I get into it in my book, but I have a complicated relationship with food. So I was always the first in line, even though I wasn't on the watch. Like I wasn't one of the watch standers getting early chow. I would be standing right behind them, trying to get my meal as quickly as possible. What's for lunch?
I used to be early child too.
And if I, if I was kind of like lingering and hanging out, I'd be there with the people, talking trash as people are coming by. And that particular day, everything leading up to it, something felt off. Yeah, like even when we were going through the Suez, and like why was this DDG separated from its battle group to go get refueled next to Yemen? And it wasn't, we were following orders. Wasn't a thought in my mind. We're doing what we were told to do. I remember asking somebody, "Where's Yemen?" And here we are going through the Suez, and the whole ship. I mean, we were close. We had a good time. We laughed. We joked. We got the job done. Whatever needed to be done. That day, it was almost like the ship was silent. Nobody was in the places that they would normally be. When we were going through the Suez, we had some Egyptians on board selling stuff on the mess decks. And I couldn't even, I walked down there. Somebody told me, they're like, "Why don't you go down there and check it out?" And I didn't want to. I didn't know what was stopping me. And the closer I got to it, I couldn't even bring myself to walk into the space. My spidey senses were just screaming at me. And one of the guys came up and talked to me, and I don't remember what he said or, what the exchange was. I'm the only person that I know of that has money from Egypt. I don't remember why he gave it to me. Weird, because I didn't buy anything and I didn't even go in there and see what they had. But we're pulling in port. I go back up, and I wasn't even sitting in my own office. I went and sat in admin. I was sitting next to one of the signalmen. He was on a computer. I was on a computer. I was emailing somebody else that's on board, because that's how we would communicate with each other. Once we got email, it was like, okay, what was it, like a chat, like an email chat or whatever. And I was emailing another crew member when the bomb hit. And initially, we thought that something happened with the refueling. And then it was like, silence. You could tell all the systems went down. And then it didn't take too long before somebody in the space was like, "We need to go to GQ." But, nothing was being called. It was just quiet. And so I went out of the space, down the ladder well. I would have gone down one deck and walked aft. But I couldn't go that far because there was too much smoke. So then I went back up the way I came to go around midship and come back down through to get to the mess line, which is where all the SCBAs were, to go get my gear. And by the time I made it down there, and I'm standing there on the mess line, and I look over and I can see the ocean. And that's, like that moment of realization. There's a big hole in the side of the ship. I can hear screaming. There's one of my shipmates that's on the deck, and his face is so damaged that I couldn't tell who it was. The only reason why I knew who it was because of his name tape. And he was still breathing, and I don't know how, because, and I don't want to go into too many details because I always worry about family members watching stuff like this. But it didn't look like he should be able to still be breathing, but there was no way that guy was going to make it. And all of the gear was already gone. Like, everybody had already grabbed all the SCBAs. They were already gone. I could hear screaming behind the mess line, and it was because there were two, and again, this is, back in the day, they used to be called mess specialists, not culinary specialists, so they were MSs. There was a couple of people back there, and I believe one was an FSA, one was an MS, and they were trapped because they were trapped under the rubble. I jumped over the mess line. I started pulling metal pieces off of the sailor that was there. It looked as if the ship had curled over on top of his legs. And I at one point put my arms under his and tried to free him. And then, of course, the curdling screams, because I was causing him more pain. I left him there. And I was still just like trying to pull pieces off of who was there. And then one of the other sailors came in and told me, like, kind of like lifted me out and told me to go somewhere else. And they were going to jump in and try to free the guy that was trapped. And then on my way back up midship, one of the other sailors that he had, something was wrong with his legs. There was two guys helping him, and he walks up to me and he was like, he came in and he kind of came in for a hug, and he's like, he says, "I'm gonna be okay." He was reassuring me, "I'm gonna be okay." And I gave him a hug, and then they took him and got him out, but he died. He didn't make it. That was last time I saw him. And then, and he looked like, from the looks of him, he looked okay. Like I didn't think that he had sustained the injuries that would be to the extent that he wouldn't make it. Mm-hmm. And then when I went back topside, they were at this point, the chiefs that were trapped inside the chief's mess, the D-Seamen, the HTs, they had broken into the space and were pulling them out, and they were bringing them like a triage area, and they were asking me to stay there. And one of the guys, his back was hurt so bad that he was kind of leaning over, and they asked me to just sit there and hold him up. And then they kept bringing out more chiefs. And that, and I remember the one chief that passed away, they were bringing him out on a stretcher, and I could see blood coming out of his ears. One of the other chiefs, he came out and he had a big nugget on his head, and I was, like trying to talk to him, ask him, "What's your name? Where are you? Like, who's the president? What ship are you on?" Just to make sure that he was aware, had awareness. And even in that moment, like all this craziness is happening, and here we were laughing because he had this big noggin on his head, and he said his name, and he said where he was, and he said who the president was. He's like, but man, my head hurts. Mm-hmm. And then there we are cracking up. You know what I mean? Like you have these dark moments where it's like you just need some levity. Yeah. To bring it back to reality, I guess. And then, and I was just basically just running from spot to spot. It was like help here with triage. And then at one point I was going to go aft to see where I could help there. And on my way there, I passed by the ops officer, and he had a weapon, and he's looking at me, and he's looking around, and he's doing one of these. And so I went up to him, and I could tell that he needed to go somewhere, but he couldn't take the weapon with him. And I remember standing there and making eye contact. Give me your weapon. And he's still hesitating. And I said, sir, give me your weapon. And he hands it to me. And I get in prone because I think that there's people still attacking us. So I'm looking for somebody to shoot until somebody else came and relieved me from, and there was nobody there, but we still didn't really know what was happening. We didn't have enough information of what we were dealing with. And it was just a lot of that. It was like a lot of moving parts. People were responding to stuff inside the ship. The rest of us were helping with the folks that were injured, trying to get them into the triage areas that we had set up. And then trying to do a muster to see who was missing. Gathering the ones that didn't make it. And it was a lot.
Yeah. One of the things just as a CMC that like hit me kind of hard in the story about the Cole is that the CMC was a HM before he became a CMC. And that was like only by the power of God, right? Because the HMC, I think it was like a HMC and a junior HM as
HM3.
well. HM3. So like the CMC was needed for a triage for a bunch of different things in those moments, right? ATTT type stuff and all of that. So that's one of the things that always hits me about just that experience, outside of the fact that it was also an experience where chiefs were locked in, because I'm a chief, right? Chiefs were locked in a mess, so like chiefs wasn't, we always want to go in chief. Like that's where we want to get out there and make sure we, on the deck place, making sure that things they like chiefs are locked in a mess. So like we depended on our crew to get us out so we could go in and by the way, CMC is doing his, like the job that was in his nature at that time, right? He kind of, and I think I would assume like Damon was a damage controlman. So I would assume in that moment, Damon would probably still do CMC stuff, but it'd be a lot of damage control happening there, right? I was an electrician's mate, right? So I would be securing power, like making sure like you kind of fall to like, and as I'm still like CMCing, but what was needed more than medical help at that time, outside of the damage control stuff. So like CMC was just a perfect person for that predicament, and I read the book, him and the CEO, it was a little issue at some point in the later days, right? Just some like trust issues kind of just coming out just to like, probably like some of just the post-traumatic, like the in the moment post-traumatic stress of the situation, creating some toxicity and stuff like that. But so that was the first day, right? So that was like but this was almost like almost an endless day, right? It just was never over.
It was because like even when things kind of sort of settled down enough for us to breathe, then it was like, now what? Because we're just sitting ducks here.
Yeah.
And what's next? What do we do? Just keeping in mind that I was E4, so I was not in the conversation of the leadership discussions and what else was going on at that level. It was like at one point, a bunch of us were just sitting on the deck aft and kind of like talking to each other. And that's when we found out that one of the rovers saw the ship come up and wave before the bomb hit or before it detonated. And so that, like we're starting to gather little bits and pieces of information. And then it was like, the adrenaline's still going, but then it was like, oh, what about the basics like food, bathroom, and all of the systems were down, and like the only functioning toilet was on the pier. And then food. At one point we broke into the ship store and people were like sharing Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. Yeah, like potable water, right? It was I think in Captain Lepo's book, like Ian, Junior Ian, if I remember right, like got potable water kind of up and running. I could be wrong about that, but
yeah, we did have, it wasn't enough to like take showers or anything, but, and still like VCHT wasn't really working, but it was like we had drinking water.
yeah. And I know sleep was an issue because like people were sleeping like outside on the skin of the ship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just even after the explosion, it's just now it's more just cascading issue. Because then it's also like it's still some people that like we need to retrieve out of places in the ship.
Yeah, because we were still looking for missing shipmates, the ones that were under the waterline.
Yeah. Hey, my question for you, Nikki, is that like for the physical side of it, like you kind of know what to do. We train on this stuff all the time, right? Like general quarters, and we do all this stuff. When the emotional side ever hit you? Like when you was off the ship, when did it actually hit? That what happened?
I feel like we were there for almost 3 weeks, not knowing if we were going to be able to leave, when we were going to be able to leave. So I feel like for me personally, it was like game face. Because what do you do? We don't know. And oddly enough, my upbringing kind of prepared me for it. It's a weird thing to say, but it was like I already knew what it felt like to be restricted in every way, or not knowing my next meal was going to come, or all these things. So it was like I knew how to stay in like mission mode or what have you, until there was going to be a time to just like, I guess, be safe.
I think it's called hypervigilance. I think.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I had lived in hypervigilant mode for most of my life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was like in that time frame, I kind of felt like I was checking on everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like while we were there and we didn't know what was happening, or we didn't know how long we were going to be stuck there. We didn't know if we were going to get food, if, toilets going to start working or what have you. I remember like just observing and watching other people. And I like, if I would see one of my shipmates who was like breaking down, I would just go and I would just hold space for them. I would, if just, like certain person is supposed to be on watch, because we were all doing taking our turns standing watches in the areas where the like the shoring, to make sure that the water didn't start coming back on board, or areas like that, the hot spots on the ship. Anytime any of my friends were on watch, I would just go and sit with them. And then other times where I wasn't on watch myself, or I wasn't kind of holding space for somebody, I knew that we had a sniper on board that was above the bridge. And so sometimes I would just go sit underneath the sniper, because that felt like the safest spot on the ship.
Dang, man. It's always every different perspective I hear about from somebody that was on a Cole. It's like kind of putting together the pieces a little bit, but you'll never, like, I don't think anything ever kind of like gives that full picture ever. You can never get it. One of the things I was thinking about with you was like all of what you kind of been through leading up to that moment in life probably made you a little bit more hardened to be able to like stomach some things.
All of it. Yeah. I'd seen death many times already, up close and personal. So absolutely, in some strange way, my past experiences, I was able to stomach all of it.
Yeah. Now, how was just the rest of those 3 weeks for you? Like, what were some of the unique experiences in the rest of those 3 weeks?
A moment that stands out was when the Tarawa came, and they were in close vicinity, and they were sending small ships over to, just provide help, supplies. And then they gave us an opportunity. They were like, does anybody want to go on board and take a shower?
Uh-huh.
And me and one of my other shipmates was like, yeah, we'll go. Like, if you'll go, I'll go. We'll go together. And when we went on board, we were crying and screaming. Best shower I ever had.
Yeah.
Like, I can still feel it to this day.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we were freaking out the other ladies in the berthing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a euphoric shower, and at the same time, it was like releasing all this grief in that moment, like washing it away.
Yeah, I'm sure they understood. I'm sure somewhere they knew that whatever y'all were going through, that even though they ain't go through it, they understood what was going on in there. It was another thing when it came to self. It was another thing when it came to, like, y'all couldn't call. It was a while, right? That was a whole thing, right? Getting like some people cell phones back or something. I think I read that in Front Burner. Like, it was a long time before y'all could call back home or get something. It was something about that, right?
And I don't know where it came from, but we were given a sat phone to use, and it was from my memory, there was one sat phone that the entire crew had to get in line for, and I think they gave us like 2 minutes each or something like that, and I felt like I was in that line for a couple hours, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was in line, I'm like, who am I going to call? Mom don't have a phone. Like, racking my brain. And then when it finally came to my turn, the only number I could remember was my uncle's. And when I called, my mom had just walked in the door.
Yeah.
And it's wild because it's her brother-in-law, not her brother. Why she and I later learned that it was some shady stuff going on. The local news crew, somebody in my family called them and told them, and they called my mom and wanted to interview her, and she did not want to. She didn't want to. She doesn't like attention on her, and she didn't want to be on the news. And they told her, well, if we can arrange a phone call with your daughter, will you do it? And so she agreed to it. And she was meeting the news crew at my uncle's house when she walked in the door. So she thought that they agreed to their part of the bargain when I called. So she agreed to do the interview.
Dang, that's crazy.
Right?
And then
they lied. Like, there's no way they would have been able to arrange a call. Like,
and then, like, so after the 3 weeks are over, right? You still on a ship? Because I know some people transferred, some people left for other reasons and like was waiting on a pair or something like that. Did you ride it out on a ship?
No, we didn't want to ride it out. Honestly, we just wanted to get away from Yemen.
Yeah.
And when that time frame came, there was a window when we were being told as a crew that a skeleton crew would have to be left behind.
Yeah.
And that was pretty terrifying. And then and there was even people, like, one person from each shop was being told that they needed to stay. And one of the ladies in my division was being told, and I write about it in my book. It was somebody who I always had a viewpoint of her being very like the quiet strength.
Mm-hmm.
She always had that quiet strength about her. It was the only time I remember seeing her cry, was when she was being told that she had to stay behind. And I remember telling her that I would stay behind in her place because I didn't have anybody to go home to.
Yeah.
And she had a family. And then, and I think it was like maybe that afternoon or the next day, we were told that that all of us was going to be able to go home. Yeah. And that they were going to send another crew to ride the ship back.
Yeah. I forgot
you know what, Nick, I want to say this before we get too far. The story you're telling is one of those stories where I think back as like leadership has no rank, right? And I really wanted to say that because I think your story fits that, where leadership has no rank, man. So I just wanted to say that before we get too far past this, man.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. You retired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all get this. So how was what was the like kind of? And I know we touched on it earlier. What was the tone when y'all got that new CO?
It was like we were damaged goods and we needed to be tossed aside as quickly as possible. That was the tone. And I don't think I wrote this in the book either, but when I got pregnant, I was digging in instructions. I wanted to stay. I didn't want to leave my people. And I kept finding instructions that said that I could stay because we didn't have a physical ship. We were working out of a building, so it was technically shore duty. And I would, run up the chit to stay. And every single time I would find a different instruction and send it up, it would get denied. And then the day that I had to go take my checkout sheet to the CO, at this point I was already, waddling. I was pretty far along. And he signed it and then he pushed it on the floor. So I had to bend over and pick it up.
Damn.
That was the kind of stuff he was doing.
How was the XO?
I don't even remember who the XO was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if the XO that, was there during the bombing was still around or not.
And that's
like,
gone. Has CMC transferred by then, or?
I'm pretty sure. But again, that's another person that I'm like, I don't even know who's there.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see some of that. So then for you, where'd you go next?
I went to HM14.
And how was that? Because you carrying a lot with you emotionally, right? At this point, you have a baby?
I had her after I had checked in at HM14.
Okay, so you're pregnant. When you check in, you're pregnant. You're coming off of this traumatic experience, coming from a traumatic background, right? Before the Navy, right? You're coming from trauma, and then you go to a ship. There's trauma there. So at some point, the way I'm looking at the story is at some point, because your book is called A Veteran's Journey to Healing, right? Grit and grind, a veteran's journey to healing. So at some point, the trajectory changes somewhere, right? So you leave the Cole, you go to this new command. You already said that like it wasn't open arms, right?
It wasn't that. It was like that at my next ship. But at this point, at HM14, it wasn't, it was a good experience. Mm-hmm. And for me, like I wasn't looking at it like trauma, or this stuff happened to me or anything like that. It was more like, I'm going to keep doing what I've always done and I'm just going to keep pushing. And that's why the book's called Grit and Grind, because that's pretty much been the theme of my life. I had somebody say this to me a couple of days ago, and it hit me kind of hard because it was, I never looked at it that way, but somebody had said to me, a good friend of mine said that when I watch you, you muscle your way through life.
Yeah, because I was gonna say whether you see it as trauma or not, these were traumatic. These were traumatic experiences, right?
It was like this is
it.
Yeah, you just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
What other choice do I have?
Yeah. Now you're a mother, right? Let's get to that part of a life. You a mother now. What do you gain from that? What do you gain from motherhood?
She gave me purpose.
Mm-hmm.
She, more than purpose, it was like, and I've told her this, she saved me from myself.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from, I'm a hard worker. Yeah, I'm, muscling my way through life. I was still a heavy, heavy, heavy drinker. And I had been a heavy drinker since I was 13.
Yeah.
And we're talking blackout, like not to have drinks and have fun, to drink until I can't remember or I can't feel.
Mm.
And that's what she saved me from.
Yeah.
Because I can't continue living life like that, trying to drink or numb myself through life, because I got somebody that needs me now.
Yeah. And did that just happen instantly?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
No. I was very fortunate that when I got pregnant, my mom moved in with me at that point so I could continue with my career, and that I had somebody that I felt safe that I could leave her with when I would go to work, or, if I was TAD, duty days, what have you. And it came in waves of, like still trying to live the single sailor life.
Yeah.
And then like, oh no, gotta get up and be mom. Yeah. So it was not overnight, not at all.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, this is you stationed, this is the Norfolk area? Where were you stationed at for your next foreign tour?
I was stationed in the Norfolk area the entire time I was active duty.
Damn.
This is all right. So you doing single life, early 2000s, 2005-ish time?
She was born in 2002, January.
Yeah. So I happen to know some of the spots during that time.
Yeah.
The club scene, the party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to party, it wasn't hard to find it.
Yep. There was, I had a different spot every day of the week.
Yeah. What was the spots, Aaron? I mean, you bringing them up, man.
Yeah.
I knew.
What was the spots?
I just knew the spot that I've heard. I wouldn't go to that stuff.
I heard.
But I know that Picasso, someone's windows getting shot out, guaranteed every week. Picasso's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have a nice day cafe.
Have a nice day cafe.
I remember having a nice day. I was around
the after hours spot, Bugatti's.
Yeah,
downtown Norfolk.
I remember the after hours spot.
Yeah, the one spot with Latin night. Forgot.
Yep. I would be at every Latin night.
Quads at Virginia Beach. I don't know how far y'all went.
Yeah, the creeps would go to the cave. The creeps,
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So I've heard, like I said, I would not frequent the establishments, but I've heard that those were the spots. And then you go to IHOP or walk around Walmart afterwards.
Club Walmart. That was Club Walmart.
There was an old song by Sean Carter, Parking Lot Pimpin', I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Club Walmart.
Damon quiet. Damon knew he was out there, man.
It was a gas station by Norfolk State we used to hang out to. It was like a 7-Eleven by Norfolk State where all the car clubs, because Norfolk, that's where the car clubs are. You got Hampton University, you got all the like colleges right there. So
what about Dodger's Chicken?
I was gonna say,
Dodgers,
like,
I got off the face.
if you didn't really care for yourself, you'd
Let me
get
tell
Dodgers chicken, because I don't know what kind of grease they was frying that chicken in. Man, it's
I
probably the
had
gas.
Dodgers. I had Dodgers. So I was just geo-batching like 2 years ago, right?
How are they still in business?
A little over 2 years ago. And I was the nostalgia of Dodgers kind of hit. Also like Feather and Fin too. But like I went to Dodgers and I couldn't do it. I was eating it. I was like, this is not like, and maybe every other time I ever had Dodgers in my life, I was drunk, right? Or something like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. 2,
Dodgers,
3 in the morning.
Yeah, Dodgers.
Fighting somebody in the parking lot.
Like $1 in my bank account, like ready for that paycheck to hit. But that Dodgers was not, at 35 years old, Dodgers was not what I thought it was.
It never is when you're sober.
Yeah, Dodgers was different. Yeah, but I remember, because I like I said, I was just stationed out there like 3 years ago, just revisiting like all of the old areas. And I wound up, you still out there now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wound up as an older person, I wound up kind of taken to Ghent, like the Ghent neighborhood. Like that's kind of where I go. It's a good barbecue spot out there. I get some barbecue from. It's a spot called The Ghent that I would go to, a good cake spot. So like that was me as an older person. I'm not going to none of them clubs or nothing like that.
Yeah, I didn't do that either. I was a good guy.
Yeah, so you did. Yeah.
Where I grew up, we would say, shoot higher.
Was that one spot, Higher Heights, still on Granby?
Yeah.
That was Kirby. They still open?
Yeah, I think so. Go get the meat patties. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody from Norfolk. I think we showed y'all love for the last 5 minutes.
I was never stationed there though, Aaron. Never been stationed.
Never.
But you partied down there?
Down the East Coast? No.
No.
So you never been to the Strip when it was a Strip before it became like family oriented?
I was never stationed on the East Coast.
Nick, you know what I'm talking about? To the Strip, right?
Oh.
In Vibe Beach?
Yeah.
People just, yeah.
I mean, how many times I get my car towed?
Wow. Gotcha.
Hey, VA Beach was still VA Beach in 2007. Gosh.
I believe that.
My laptop's about to die. Let me plug this in.
Okay. Yeah. It wasn't like, it wasn't over in 2002.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. So, Damon, you should have spent some time on the East Coast. Nikki, question for you. What was your favorite tour?
The Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something to that? I think, is it nostalgia or is it legit? There's something where your first tour, 9 times out of 10, is usually your best tour as far as the relationships you build?
I think it was the relationships that I built because it was the first time that I was on my own as an adult, away from my family, finding who I am, finding my own voice, finding my own identity. And everybody that I had relationships with then, I'm solid with to this day. We go on trips together every year. And it's not just like, it's different portions of the crew, but we see each other every single year. I'm in group chats with half the crew.
So, do you know what's the name? Tabitha Dupree?
Yeah. Oh, Tabby. She and I FSA'd together.
She and now RC's together.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And she's real.
Yeah.
And during Chief season, she gave me a moment I'll never forget. And I carry it every year now. People like to roll out, talking about the McCain or Heritage projects or talking about it. And someone came out there, they're going through it, and at the PowerPoint, and she wasn't in the auditorium. But then she came in towards the back end of it, I think. And she really had people like, you over here talking about this history lesson. This is my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've carried that. We talk about 9/11 and different things. So someone's like history note is someone's lived experience 20 some odd years later. So yeah, she said that, I carry that, and she's tough. She wore it on her sleeve, but she's also, like soft. Like, she never lost her feminine energy.
I got a question for you. So you said like your book focuses on childhood trauma, The next thing in here is sexual assault.
Mhm.
And I don't know that like we touched on where that kind of interjected in life at, where that incident happened at. Yes.
So there were 3 incidents, and I do go into detail in the book. And it was when I was a teenager, and there was alcohol involved every single time.
Okay, so this was after 13, sometime between 13 and 17.
13, and twice when I was 16.
Okay, and then physical assault.
That was when I was a chief, and that was my brother.
Y'all got like, can you tell the story? Do you want to share the story?
Yeah, sure. He had just gotten out of prison, and he reached out, needed a place to stay, and it was like being in Utah. There's nothing for us, so I brought him here and moved him in. He talked me into bringing his girlfriend too. So then she came. Wasn't too long after that. Then there was a baby, and he's a convicted felon, so he was having a tough time getting a job. He was addicted to drugs at 14, and pretty much, more on than off, struggling with that. And one particular night, he was downstairs. Had drank so much that it was like something would change in his eyes. And my daughter, she was 8 at the time. She was upstairs in grandma's bedroom, and she needed to go to the bathroom, and she was scared to leave the room because she's like, my uncle's scary. I don't want to go to the bathroom. And so my mom called me. My bedroom was downstairs, and she called me, and she's like, she told me, she said she needs to go to the bathroom, but she's scared to walk out because he's drunk. And I immediately got pissed. So I went into the living room, and he's sitting there, had his headphones in, listening to music. And I came at him, like in hindsight, I came at him a little bit too hard because I started yelling at him. I'm like, this is her house. What the hell are you doing? How dare you make her feel unsafe in her own house? And he looked up at me, and it was like the look, like Pennywise in It. It's like he looked up and he smiled, and he came at me and pushed me up against the stairs, grabbed me by my hair. And again, another, in hindsight, it was like he was only punching me in places where you couldn't see the bruises later. And like my mom could hear us, the scuffling and the screaming, and so she flies down the stairs, tries to get in between us. I get out from under his grip. I run through the kitchen, and before I make it all the way to the next room, he grabs me by my hair again, pulls me back, wraps, like we both fall to the ground. He wraps his legs around my whole body, and he still has me by the hair, and he's still doing this. And then he starts squeezing to where I can't breathe. And while he's doing, and he's laughing while he's punching. Yeah. And then my mom somehow, again, I don't know how she did it because he never let go of me, and he's still squeezing. She managed to sit on him right here, and she's over him, and she's praying, and she's screaming, "Get out of my son! Get out of my son!" Screaming to the demon. And he has her by her hair, and he still has me by my hair, and he's still laughing. And so while all this is going on, my mom is sitting on him so he can't see me, even though he still has a hold of me. And somehow or another, my daughter is right in front of me, and she's watching all of this. And I whispered to her, "Baby girl, go get mommy's phone." And she went and she grabbed it. And while he still has me, I call the cops. And it wasn't too long after that they show up. They handcuff him, and he's still the whole time laughing.
Yeah. So
And
he was
then-
in a trance.
Yeah, and then they take him away, and the next day he doesn't know why he's in jail, and he's mad at me
Yeah.
because he has no memory of it.
Mm.
What's y'all's relationship now?
It's been a long road, but we're close.
Yeah.
There was a 7-year gap where we weren't on speaking terms.
Because did he remain your only sibling?
No, I have another again in the book, but I have a half sister from when my dad had an affair with his younger brother's wife.
Okay. And did you always know about the half sister, or did you learn about the half sister later in life?
No, I witnessed the affair,
Okay.
happening. Like I always knew. She just learned a few years ago when we did our DNA.
Oh, she thought that your uncle was her dad?
My uncle raised her as his own.
Yeah, and she thought he was her
Mhm.
real father, even though y'all knew that she wasn't. Like
Yeah.
the family knew she wasn't, but she
Yep.
didn't know. Man, question for you is: when did you stop drinking? Well, did you stop drinking? That's the first question.
I still have
Okay.
a glass here and there,
Uh-huh.
but when I stopped drinking like that, like at that level,
Yeah.
was probably on my third ship. So like 2007-ish, in between 2007, 2011, somewhere in there.
Okay. And did you retire before COVID?
I retired right when it happened. It was in 2019.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it was somewhere around that time. So what was your second best tour?
I would have to say Deb Grew.
Okay. And I mean, to say why, right? I kind of would assume why. Why was that your second best tour?
The people that I met, and it's always the people. I got to do some cool stuff. Yeah, I got to see some cool things. Blah blah. But it was the people that I worked with and that I gained relationships with.
Yeah. And what rank were you when you retired?
A senior chief.
A senior chief. All right. So at some point, when did you go through the chief season?
2007.
Oh, so you went through the chief season, just for context, right? You went through the chief season when I joined the Navy. Yeah, same year. But how was that for you?
It was awful.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was on my. It was. I'll give some context. I had just converted to career counselor,
Mm-hmm.
and I checked on board a ship that was leaving on deployment within weeks. So it was the first time that I had been out to sea since the bombing.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time I was leaving my daughter, and I was in a new job, and I knew no one in the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working for somebody who, when I had made that mention of, working for people that I felt like they were making it their life's mission to break me,
Mm-hmm.
that was the time. And that's the environment that I went through the chief season in.
Yes. I don't know enough about the chief season back in 2007, but if I was to make assumptions, I would assume that some of that experience was weaponized in a way.
1,000%. And it wasn't just during the season, it was even after. Absolutely weaponized.
Yeah.
Who was McPond during your season?
Camper.
I think it was,
Camper.
was it?
Yeah.
I was like, I think it was right before
Camper,
Campa.
I'm pretty sure.
Camper was the McPond in 2007, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna go Google in a minute. But
If that's who it was when you were going through boot camp. When did you go
They
through boot
drilled
camp?
into us. I went through boot camp in March of 2007.
He knows.
Then maybe
you sure it wasn't Beldo?
No, Beldo was never the McPond. Come on, man.
she was not.
I'm thinking about who was.
What are we talking about,
I'm talking about
man?
who was CMC at boot camp when you went through. I'm sorry.
Oh, CMC at boot camp. Who went through?
You went through.
Beldo.
Yeah, so see, I'm not tripping. I just got
You are
wires crossed, man. I got my wires crossed. I was thinking about who's a boot camp at the same time as who is. But the McPond junior season was probably Camper. It was Camper. I was trying to think, when did a season get more codified?
Oh, well, mine was the first year of induction.
Huh. Well, that answers that question.
Yeah, it was,
okay. Now y'all got me wanting to make sure I'm right about. Yeah. So he sworn in as the McPond in 06. So yeah, he was the McPond.
Ah, okay. And then me, I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. I mean, as a boot camp dude, like, we just had to know that, right? Like,
yeah.
If I didn't know anything, I knew that the McPond was Joe Camper.
I feel like that whole time frame, I was just trying to survive.
Yeah, you going through the season. You back first ship now with a daughter now, and she's how old? Like 2, 3,
4. She was she was 4 when the deployment started.
So when your first ship's movement, right? How?
No, I'm sorry. She was 5. I'm like, let me do this math. She was 5. You were saying.
So just thinking, I'm trying to like pull back the scab, but your first underway, the first time you felt the ship move, did you have like a flashback? Were you okay? Or was it just?
I was okay because I had multiple PTSD episodes on that ship.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was when we had our first fire drill. And it wasn't just because we had a fire drill. Yeah. I kind of froze and I didn't know what to do, where to go. And the person that I worked for, brand new, learning a new job, and he stuffed me away in the ship's library by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it started. And then when I didn't show up, he calls me on my phone, screaming at me to get down to the repair locker. And when I got down there, he forces me to don the firefighting ensemble in front of everybody. And I was having a PTSD attack.
Yeah. And again, that's somebody thinking they about to make you push through. It's like that captain. That's like, hey, y'all got to get over. It's somebody thinking that they doing the right thing and it's totally wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? No, you're gonna deal with this type shit, and it's like, no,
that wasn't it. And then the second time that I had an attack, he and I'm an NC. Why do I need a 50 cal qual? I don't know. But he put me on the list, and I went and got in line. I was still first class. Like the results hadn't come out yet. And I'm doing what I'm told. I go stand in line, and the first boom, I blacked out. I come to in the can't even remember what it's called when you're going through the skin of the ship, the air locker.
Okay, airlock.
Thank you, airlock. I was in there in the pitch black, crying, can't breathe. Have no recollection of how I got from topside into the space. While we were there in Yemen, one of the gunner's mates accidentally set off the 50 cal, and we thought people were shooting at us. So that's where my mind went when that happened. And then there was a lot of PTSD episodes on that ship.
So they didn't know your background? Like this kind of like...
She said they did. She said
they absolutely did.
Against her.
How'd you probably still in a place where they just thought that, look, man, you got to tough through grit in this kind of way. Yo, man, you got to just turn a page, go through it. You got to be tough, not just know when to take a knee. And we still struggle with that.
Yeah, trying to...
Even with,
trying to force... It's like, thug it out, man up.
Yeah, we talked about our grandparents earlier before we started, like making us eat the shit that, like, it's like, no, it's super hot. But so as far as damage control now, right? Did your mindset change as far as how you look at like drills and stuff. And I mean, like, from like just that war hardened person who actually been through something, and you watching people not take drills serious. Did that affect you at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that my duty section on the Gunston Hall, when I was the section leader, remembers the time that we had, and I can't remember if it was a drill or what, but and I'm pretty sure that's all it was. It was a drill, and like nobody showed up. And when they finally did, I lost my shit.
Yeah. And
I was screaming at them, and I was crying. I was like so mad, I was crying. And I'm like, you don't even know what this fucking happened. We didn't know where you were, and you were fucking dead. And yeah, I mean, I don't even remember everything that I said, but I just lost my shit. And they were looking at me like I had a third eye.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with this fool?
Yep. Yeah. Because they not connected, right? But some of them kind of knew and understood it was serious, right?
I think some,
Yeah.
because it's not like I would, like leadership, just look at my record. They knew where I came from. They would look at my evals, what have you. But like the junior crew, I didn't talk about what ship I came from. There was years that went by that I couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And as a damage control, I would have used you. Like, I would have used you in those times to get people motivated and get them going. I've been like, yeah, I could have found a way. If that's something you want to talk about, I know it would have been something that could have been useful too, though. It's like young sailors, they may not understand, it only take one time, right? For something to happen. You can do these drills 1,000,000 times and nothing, but
if you connect it to something real and make that association, just like with what you said, with what Tabby had mentioned.
Yeah.
And I did eventually get to a place where I could, and I would usually save it for chief season, but there were other times where I would reference stuff, but not to the extent of what we're talking about today. I couldn't go into all those details in the same way.
Yeah. I want to ask a question, Nikki. Before your follow-on tours, right? From everything. I'm thinking about like screenings. I got this thing personally. I see people get special duty screenings or overseas screenings. A lot of times people just kind of like, all right, you just pencil whip it. Do people actually look and give honest recommendations on screenings of various sorts? Did you get any screenings before your tours that maybe could uncover something? Say, hey, listen, she will she will forever have to deal and navigate this. Did I come in screenings, or you just was general orders and reported as assigned?
Yep, report as assigned. Do the job. There, while I was still attached to the Cole, there was a very, I think it was like 3 months that I was a part of a skeleton crew that got sent to Pascagoula. And if I'm not mistaken, I volunteered to go. And that was the only part of my career where I wasn't stationed somewhere in the Hampton Roads area. And while I was there, we didn't have anything to do because, the ship's being worked on. So it was a lot. It was a light work. The leadership that was there, and man, I wish I could remember this guy's name. He was very impactful. He was a lieutenant in the engineering department that was new crew. He was. I have a lot of respect for this guy. He told each and every one of us to go to Fleet Family and go talk to somebody and go get counseling because like we weren't needed in the office for lengthy periods of time. And so during that time, I did go to counseling. I talked about the Cole for one session and spent the rest of the sessions talking about my dad. Yeah. But just the fact that it was somebody in a leadership position that wasn't there during that time that was encouraging us to take care of ourselves. Yeah. And that was the only time that happened. But there was nothing in like when we were doing screenings or when it was time for me to take my next. It was all about like, what orders do I need to take so I can make rank.
Mm-hmm. And when you retired, were you ready to retire? Were you ready to go?
No.
So
No,
why'd
that
you
was
retire?
another toxic leadership failure situation that happened.
What happened?
It was another senior chief that was once again making it her life's mission to sabotage my career, lying on my behalf at eval. The slate.
Yeah, and you just
Yeah.
got out of it. You just like, all right, I could just.
Well, I tried to fight it, and it went nowhere. And she made sure that I got promotables 3 years in a row. Was removing stuff off of my eval that I had done, and then sending it off so I would get the copy of where I can't remember what it's called, where they type something in the signature block.
Yeah. I don't.
And I see it after the fact. It was already sent to.
For real?
Copy certified.
Member provided
Yes.
copy.
Copy
Yes.
certified.
Yeah.
That's wild, Joe. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What platform did you retire from?
From Dev Group.
Okay, all right. So you retired from Dev Group. It's a picture of Jordan behind you, right? That's Michael Jordan. That's behind you.
Oh yeah, I'm in my office, and it's actually that's my my team leads stuff. So that I'm not going to take credit for that.
I was going to ask. I was going to say, what's going on with that Mike? That picture of Mike.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you retire at 20. It was a little after 20, right?
21 and a half. So just shy of 22 years.
So and how long would you have done if not placed in this scenario that made you be like, all right, I'm done?
I would have stayed in as long as I could. It was, regardless of all of the difficult stuff in my career.
Yeah.
I loved being in the Navy. Loved my job. I mean, I would, and if people probably remember, like I'd be walking down the hallways, I'm the mayor of this town, and like high-fiving people in the V-ways. Like I love taking care of sailors. I loved being a career counselor. I loved being an admin. I loved it.
Yeah. Do you follow it at all now?
No, not one bit.
That sounds like most people who fulfilled any type of career. Like you got Mike in the back, but I remember when they talked to Kobe, he's like, "Do you miss the game?" He's like, "No," because he exhausted everything himself. He perfected that,
Yeah,
so you might, but they say you might miss the clowns, not the circus.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So,
yes.
Yeah, like I got bad news for the listeners. One day we'll be a veteran podcast, right? We'll be a veteran podcast. I don't know if y'all know that or not, listeners, but we're going to talk about veteran shit. Like
Damien and I in short order. You know what I mean?
I almost think I'm gonna retire before y'all. Which to me is sad. It's the saddest thing in the world. But I almost think I'm retired before y'all.
Me and Damien on the last 3 or 4 for Dirty 30, and we good, man.
Yeah, y'all saying 3-4. Like y'all get some big numbers.
Damo, you gonna be McPom by then, bro. I don't know why.
Y'all give it big.
Everybody knows Caesar but you, man.
Y'all give it big numbers, man.
He's gonna ignore what I just said. Him being McPom. So peep that, right?
So what are you doing now, Nikki?
I'm a real estate agent.
Ooh. Yeah, I saw that. And how's that going for you?
It's going fantastic. It really is. It's an easy transition. I'm in service. I take care of people.
Yeah, I might need to talk to you next year. Find me a little flat, something down in Virginia. Yep.
What's some of the big, and I get it, like being an NC and all of that, like that's kind of like an easy transition. What's some of the low key, like biggest lessons you learned from your naval career that transferred over to what you're doing now?
I would just say, just listen. It's not about me, it's about them.
Okay. And are you running your own company?
No, I don't. So another thing of the Navy is like, ever want anybody working for me again, and I don't want to work for nobody, and I don't want anybody to tell me how to set my time schedule.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that.
And even though I'm on a team, and yes, I'm in a leadership role, it is not my team. I have no aspirations of being like the team lead. I don't want to become a broker. I don't want to own my own office. I don't nope, just plug me in and let me do my thing.
Do people sniff veteran off you when you just, the way you walk in or carry yourself?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I wouldn't think so, man.
Because quick story, 2 years ago at my oldest, when we took her to college orientation, right? And then they had the parents break off in little groups where the children went to do their walk around. And it was little focus groups and hey, how you do this, right? And what do you think about this? And we just sitting there quiet. And then another couple was there. They looked at us with eyes are you a veteran? And he was I'm active duty. Yeah, you have a way about you. I just feel it, I was are you? She's yeah, he retired last year and I retired a couple years ago. I was okay, that's weird. And we didn't say anything. We just was sitting there quiet, not trying to take charge of the group. And people was oh, you're a veteran.
You got that aura though, Aaron. You do, man. You just got that military aura, bro. Man. You got it. You got the lingo. You got the lingo down, bro. You've said more, talking to you, I've heard more Navy terms than I ever heard kneecap to kneecap conversations. That's a Navy thing. I heard you say it. I go back to listen. I was Aaron got the whole Navy sailor leader vocab, the whole joint. You know what I mean?
And when I retire, I ain't doing none of that.
I wanted to sound like a good Navy person today, and I said kneecap to knee. I never said kneecap to kneecap conversations till you said it. But I be listening damn, Aaron got the whole toolbox of Navy.
Hey, I said something today. I was well, if that demand signal goes up, I was
yeah, see? See? He got it. Aaron got everything, every one. I don't know where you what, that 50%, man. It matters because I don't know, them commands you've been through, they put you through the Navy ringer. I ain't never.
It's deep, ingrained deep.
Yeah, no, he got it. You can smell it on you. You smell it on you, Halls. Nikki is good. Nikki just go walk through. I'm looking at you, Nikki. I could see where somebody won't say that. Unfortunately for me, I can't get away with it right now. When I get out and I get my beard back, I could probably pass for it, right? But it's the way you stand, our posture is different. That's what some girls.
Why'd you show up on time?
Yeah. I saw you in your car 15 minutes ago, waiting for the place to open. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny that you would ask that though, because in no place that I have ever been in my entire life does anybody ever guess anything about me and get it right, ever. Not my ethnicity, not where I'm from, not what I do for a living, nothing. Everything's a shock to people when I tell them.
Just ambiguous.
Yes,
yeah.
I've been told that before. I'm racially ambiguous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because you got you said your father was Mexican, right?
My mother's Mexican. I am
all the way
100% Latina.
She will pull the Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, she was talking, my car. Oh, yeah, it's just, it's the Mariah Carey.
Is it real estate? Are you riding it out real estate?
Yeah, I think so. I found my place.
Yeah.
And would you ever leave the area and go do real estate like Texas or somewhere else? No?
I don't think so, because part of what makes this area a good fit for me is because it's so highly populated with military. Mm-hmm. And so what makes me good at my job is being able to listen, understand, and provide a service that's tailored to the person that I'm helping. And if it's a military person, you don't have to explain nothing to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're what the schools? Well, I raised 3 children here, so I know that school.
Yeah.
It's just
When the last time you've been back home? Utah. When last time you been to Utah?
Sadly, the last 3 times I went home were for funerals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of, as we get older, that's kind of, and
it wasn't for that. I had a cousin that committed suicide. I had another cousin who was shot by her husband.
Yeah.
Like the environment that I grew up in, that environment hasn't changed.
Yes.
I just left it.
Just ask this. How old are your girls again? You have 3 girls? Or?
I have 3 girls, 24, 14, and 12.
Do they know, do they fully grasp like the upbringing and then the career and all the shit that their mother had? Because I don't think any of our children really, like Damon, like you have, your son's still in the Navy, right?
Yeah.
Does he really grasp like, yo, you're like his dad's him, like the amount of shit he been through? Like,
most
these kids, boy.
Yeah,
like, oh man.
When my daughter was telling me no about that smoothie, I'm like, yo, know who you talking to right now?
Let me tell you about this smoothie and what's about to happen.
Like, I'm gonna take that smoothie,
kids, like they talking greasy, like hey, Gen Z, like we fought for real. Like,
hey,
I reserve the right to beat your ass, man. Like,
to be honest with you, when Dumbo say that he might not be in long, that's gonna be the reason right there. That little girl.
Yeah.
Oh, the minute she hit middle school, I'm out.
I mean, it'd be probably my wife more than her, though. Really, probably my wife.
You say that now, but like real talk, all that stuff that was going on in my last command, my daughter's the reason why I put my papers in.
Yeah.
Because all that stuff was, all that stuff was happening, and it was like kind of in the back of my mind. But I was just gonna keep thugging it out like I've been doing my whole life, and just like regardless of what was, even though my chances of making Master Chief had just completely disappeared before my very eyes. It was a argument I was having with my daughter. She's in high school. And she screams at me, "You were never there." And that's all she had to say. And I had put in my retirement papers the next day.
Yeah.
She was right.
Yeah. And her opinion matters. Like,
it was the only opinion that mattered.
Yes. And I say that because it competes against sometimes like other people in the Navy's opinion, especially when you enter the realm of chief, senior chief, whatever, like other chiefs or stuff like kind of forcing their opinions on you and expectations, or just other people in leadership, or even like your junior sellers or whoever it is, like just forcing opinions and expectations on you when it was your daughter's opinion that mattered more than everything, right?
Everything.
We talk about basketball, and I remember when Kevin Durant like went to the Warriors, and like everybody was mad at him, like the fans, right? And he's like, man, I talked to my family. My family was good with this, and we don't have that many people to answer to in life. The rest of the people are just spectators. So brother. when you make those decisions, you got to make those decisions for who matters. We spend a lot of time investing our energy in the opinions of people that don't matter at all, right?
Exactly.
Just don't matter. So I'm glad you took your daughter's emotional kind of surge as like a understanding, like, yo, it's time for me to cash my chips in and do something else, right? And I honestly, like Damon said, that's probably where to go. But like, even just having a kid, like right now, even just having a kid, I see the toll that it takes on the family. The job and doing this too, right? But if I wasn't at the job, then doing this, well, but either way, right? If I wasn't doing this, then but the job got a toll in itself. Like I'm out of the house by like 5. I'm back home by like 18:30. We got 2 hours of life, and in those 2 hours of life, we getting our daughter ready to go to sleep. And then when we finally think it's hope yet for us to have an hour, we sit on the couch together or something, and in 20 minutes, we both realize that we've been passed out. We're gonna try to ride it out.
Try to watch a little show.
Yeah, we gonna.
Yeah, the show is watching you.
Yeah.
I think our kids remember that though. Like I think, you get older, like, okay, my daughter's starting to like say things to me now. And she remembers, hey, you know, I hate My Little Pony with a passion. But she remembers me watching it with her. Yeah, I fell asleep. But like she knows, like, hey, you watched it with me. You didn't really care to watch that. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know? I think sometimes like for like you do so much that you might have as many moments, but your moments are more impactful because you're trying to lock in because of the schedule, the work, or whatever.
Yeah, they are those core memories.
Yeah, and I guess I need to let her drink the smoothie, man. You know.
Nah, you did your thing, man. You told her, like, my daddy was strict. He loved me, but everybody knew you whipped, man. Everybody knows, like, you know,
Yeah.
She got you whipped, man.
I don't know, man.
He's like, I still took that smoothie away.
I'm a girl dad, and I don't know, man.
That's one time out of 20, man.
What? I don't know,
Hey,
man.
I see your future, man. Like today I'm at work and I'm in a meeting and my phone blows up. I'm like, yo, I'm like, what's going on? She's like, hey, father. I'm like, how much it costs? She's like, so the Netflix password reset. Is it your email? I'm like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Got to give her the Netflix 842 and reset it. Anything else? Well, you know, man, just go watch Netflix. Like,
Nikki, I got a question. Could be a last question, honestly. Bucket list. What's on your bucket list?
Oddly enough,
I got a military question about that too. Since you brought that up.
I don't really have one.
Okay.
And I say that because I'm doing everything I want to do. I schedule overseas trips every year. Like, you know, thankfully my retirement pay and everything else, bills are covered. All of this is fun money for my family and for me to travel. And it's all about making, like, to your point, when you're talking about family time, making those moments count.
Memories.
And I want for nothing. I am so grateful for the life that I have that it's not even about a bucket list.
And where do you know where you would be if you never joined the Navy?
I don't even know if I'd be alive. And that's real.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost so many friends and family members.
Them 90s.
Gun violence,
Them 90s.
drugs,
Yeah.
suicide, all of it.
Aaron, you had a question?
Well, I have one question for her and then a question for all of us. So you don't have a regular bucket list, but did your like career Navy bucket list, did you get all those things like accomplished, like port visits or duty stations or tours or ships or anything like that?
I believe so, because again, it was like my mindset throughout was like, life is surprising me every day. And I didn't know what was going to happen around the corner. And I was just grateful to be there and excited to see what I was seeing and doing what I was doing and being around the people that I was around. So it was, just content with all the experiences, even the bad.
We normally do, I think you got another question, Aaron, but we normally do a pick of the week, right? On our podcast. We do a couple of things on the podcast, but we normally do pick of the week. And pick of the week, we do a book or something that we saw that we liked. Like for me, next week is going to be a book and Man on Fire, right? The TV show on Netflix. That shit is amazing. But pick of the week for you this week, I don't even think that we have to like do an actual pick of the week, because if you had to pick a book, I'm sure you would pick your book.
I would not.
You would?
No, that's so cheesy.
Well, I mean, we gotta talk about your book though. We have to, right? We can't.
I feel like we have, just because of what we've been talking about.
Well, you still need to like plug it a little bit, right? Right? Well, we referenced it, we mentioned it, but like it's called Grit and Grind: A Veteran's Journey to Healing. Why did you write it? One, and where can people find it? We keep it simple. Why did you write it, and where can people find it?
I wrote it because I had been hearing my whole life with stories that I would share, like, man, you should write a book. You should write a book. I heard that so many times, I lost count. And last year, it was time. And that's why I wrote it.
How long it take to write it?
Start to finish, in between when I had to keep taking breaks because it was pretty tough to write. I would say about 3 months.
And you self-published?
I self-published. My cousin was my editor.
3 months ain't bad.
3 months ain't bad.
That's a grind, man.
You was just unloading.
And I go into detail. I mean, we did kind of laugh when the proof came in the mail and I pulled it out the envelope and my kids are like, that's it? It's that thin? I'm like, I know, right? My whole life, and that's it. But I do go into details with everything that we've talked about here and more.
Yeah, well, I'm paying for it right now. Like, I will now receive the book. On Sunday. It's coming. It's
your
getting
book is added to my veteran list of books to read this year.
Yeah, will you do audio soon?
I aspire to, because I love an audio book and I prefer to listen to it from the author's voice. So that is, I guess, if we need to add something to a bucket list, that'll be it.
Yeah, please. Like, the one kind of Amari piece is he dropped a book. I bought the book. I had the book. I owned the book. I didn't read the book until it dropped in audio. And when I talked to him about it, when we talked about it, because he didn't narrate. He let somebody else narrate. And the person that narrated, they mispronounced like 2 or 3 words or more, right? But I'm being generous. And me and him talked about this when we were on the latest episode.
We talked about it too. I'm like, you should at least got somebody who spoke Spanish.
Yes, yeah. I wanted him to narrate that book, but I did after the audiobook dropped, and I kind of went through that book really fast. So I bought your book in support. It's hard for me to sit and read, and I hope I can. But the moment the audiobook come out, I'm definitely going to get through it and listen. But I probably, I just drag when it comes to like reading books. But yeah, that was. I mean, what was your last question, Aaron? What was like your group question that you had?
Like talking with Nikki, I got this thing where I think the Navy, the military in general, the Navy in particular, the recruiting should be from veterans. Like, it should be just conversations and like Instagram posts, things, just people talking about the time that they were in, whether it's 4 years or 21 years. My question is, do you think that it would be better suited for recruitment to be just veterans and people who serve just talking about their time? Because I think that would be more enticing to people to serve. Relationships and the chosen family you have and how it saved your life and gave you purpose. That's just my question for y'all. I think that's something, I guess, opinion based, I guess. But.
Yes, I think so. I'll answer first. I think that those conversations, but I think extending past recruitment, I think if people could be, I think, yes, for recruitment, yes. But we, as leaders, right, I think we need to be transparent about our journeys while on the deck plates too. We've been through, that's where, to me, a big disconnect is like when a lot of junior sellers, they don't hear about the shit we've been through. I think adding some transparency to that too, like the struggles we've been through, issues we had, stuff like that. I think even after recruiting, it's a good way to establish those connections on the way up. But to answer your question, for recruiting, yes.
Yeah, I say the same thing, yes, because the best way to get to people is by stories, man. Stories is the key to it, man. So I most definitely say yes.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think that recruiting, the way that it's set up now, it's based off of like sales, and these are people, and there's nothing more impactful than connection.
got a quote for the week. I don't know if I could shoot it out, Damo.
Now you trying to make this quote of the week thing a thing, man.
I am, man. Especially because you're the lyricist of all this, man. I thought you had it, man, but
No, I didn't. Like, okay, here we go. What is it? What you got, man?
all right. So I heard
You got a
listened to Big
gangster of the
Sean.
week? You got a gangster of the week too, man?
I think it's Nikki, man. To have that type of grit, that's Nikki. Like,
Nikki in the Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm here. God,
Nikki is in the Hall of Fame. League of
Like-
Legends, man.
Tyler Perry would strive to have a character with that type of grit, you know? Because, geez.
Oh, yeah, Tyler Perry for sure.
Yeah, but he would botch it up. But anyway,
Yeah, bad wig.
I hate Tyler Perry movies, man.
He put a bad wig on a Nikki Lozano character.
Jakey.
You have Nikki looking like Joe Jackson.
She like out in the rain crying. Yeah,
You know?
you're right.
All right, quote of the week. I heard from Big Sean. I don't know if it's his, but on Deep Reverence. If it costs you peace of mind, it may be too expensive.
Mm.
You took the Deep Reverence and you pulled a Big Sean quote, and Nipsey is on that track.
You the Nipsey guy, man. I'm a Nipsey guy too. I've gotten a lot of stuff from listening to Nipsey Hussle interviews, man. I've been on a rabbit hole for about a couple weeks now.
That song go hard too.
That's it.
But yeah, if it costs you peace of mind, maybe too expensive. And hearing about what Nikki, you and your daughter, and she said that, it's like, all right, this is the cost is too deep. I'm not paying for it no more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Hey, Nikki, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. I already got this as a top 25. You know, we had 188
What?
episodes now. So
Get out of here.
man.
our 189, depending on where the simple fact, listen, what makes this top 25, like outside of you just having a great story and a great journey, the simple fact that we found out in real time that like you and another of our guests had a kid, like that's a moment in itself. Like that's just, you know, that's a moment in itself.
She's like, oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Did you, like, y'all on the code again? Did you just so happen to? Yes, we share a kid. Like so,
She
just
started
that
grinning.
moment.
She started grinning.
Yeah.
Time you said it, Dumbo. She started grinning. I said, "Oh."
Yeah, and then somewhere in the world, right? The episode is out, and he's listening. And in real time, well, Nikki probably calls him, I guess, as soon like, hey, I recorded with like these dudes that knew you. Didn't know that at first when we started, but just that moment alone is just chef's kiss. But even outside of that, in all seriousness, just the conversation, your journey, what you went through, how you carry it now, it matters because you carry it like really, really gracefully, right?
Mhm.
But it's not like in your face graceful. It's just super nonchalant, kind of like, yes, this was life. You know, I wouldn't call it trauma. You know, all of that kind of made this a really good, great conversation to have. And like for somebody like me who, you know how I told you how I felt when we started. I was tired. I was like, I got energy now, right? Like this conversation, yeah, it did that for me.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it did that for me. So thanks. I appreciate that. Anytime you need to come talk to us, if you want to come back and we can have some real estate conversations, because a lot of sellers do get out and talk about that type of stuff too. Please come back. You got an open invite. I love this conversation. Thank you. And just, keep doing what you're doing out there.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Hey, I appreciate it also, Nikki. I appreciate you for sharing your story, right? And how authentic it was and talking to the sailors. And a lot of times, like I said before, stories connect people. And I guarantee your story going to connect a lot of people once we put it out. So again, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
You got any last words, Nikki?
No, not that I
That's
can think
good.
of. I really enjoyed this. This was amazing.
Thank you. Damon didn't say Mississippi stand up. Yeah.